13. And question 13 is, what's my progression likely to be? And this is the big, big question that I want the answer to. And the reason that I've come to California. And he said, essentially, well, you have a progressive form of the illness, and progressive illnesses tend to progress. And I thought, hang on a second, I've traveled a third of the way around the world to hear that progressive illnesses progress. That's not really good value from my point of view. I'm interested to know what my progression is likely to be. How disabled am I going to be? How quickly am I going to be disabled? What parts of me are going to become disabled? And he said, progressive illnesses progress, Pat. And that's as much as I could get out of him. And I left there and I went back home. And I was quite down about this because I thought, how am I supposed to, manage my life? How am I supposed to plan for things when I don't know which direction my illness and what speed my illness was going? But then I thought about it differently. The idea that if you change the way you look at things, the way things look will change. So I changed the way I look at this. And I said to myself, I think that he has spared me what I now call the tyranny of a prognosis. Because if he had said to me that this is when you're going to lose your ability to walk, and then this is going to happen, and then this is going to happen, and then this might happen, that would have invaded my subconscious. That would have become my outcome, like it or not. And I would have been captive to that for the rest of my life. I would have had to fit everything that he told me into, or everything that happened to me into what he told me. And that would have become my outlook. Instead, he's left me to choose my own realities, to decide how I deal with this disease, to decide how I choose to act when anything happens and how I justify it and what workarounds I can find for it. So he has definitely spared me the tyranny of that prognosis. And now I live in my own world where I don't get to choose the things that happen to me, but I do get to choose how I think about them and how I react to them. And that has been an enormous gift that he gave me. Though I don't know what my progression is likely to be, I'm not fussed about it now because I know that I'll be able to deal with it when it happens. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much. That's timer. Do we have 90 seconds for people to be able to send some suggestion and comments to Pat? Okay, thank you. Vicky, are you the Jasper's evaluator?
I am.
Okay, so would you please tell us about his project?
Now this Jasper is doing an 8 to 10 minute speech, Brad, and this is for his speaker's reel. So I'd like you all to consider, if you were watching this, what message do you get? Because Jasper is working on his speaking reel. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Brad, could you put your hand up again? It seems to come up, come down. I think it happens all the time. Jasper, the title of his speech is Today is the Day. Please welcome Jasper.
The basketball lands into the grip of my hands. I'm wide open, but the whole room is expecting me to miss. It was high school, maybe freshman or sophomore year. And at that age, you want to show the world that you're just as good as everyone else. One day, me and a group of friends decide to play a game of basketball at a local gym. At the end of the school day, we meet at the quad. There's 8 of us. That works out well for a 4 versus 4 game. We walk over to the parking lot and hop into one of our friends' 1997 Toyota minivan, the one with the sliding door. We need the force of both arms to drag the door open. For many people, this was your workout for the day. We get inside. It fits all 8 of us. Perfect. And then you reach for the door from the inside, and it takes the force of both arms to slam it closed. And off we go. We're on our way. We make it to the basketball gym. It's a fairly new building. As you walk inside, you see the shiny, polished hardwood floors and the lights from the ceiling reflecting on them. and there are the freshly painted walls. It's a busy weekday. We see games already being played on most courts, but we find an open half court, quickly set up our team, and the game begins. We're moving around, time goes by, and it's looking like a good game. Now my team gets the ball. One of my teammates looks around for an open player to pass to. Oh wait, that's me. I'm right behind the three-point line, and everyone else is closely guarded. He tosses the ball from the other side of the court. I see it floating in midair, and finally, the basketball lands into the grip of my hands. I'm wide open. Today's the day. Here's my chance to show that I'm just as good as everyone else. This is it. Today is the day. I look up at the basket. I take a step forward, hop off on both feet. My arm extends, and the ball releases from my grip. Wow, perfect form, perfect spin. I see the ball floating peacefully in the air. I feel like I just witnessed a masterpiece. As I stand there patiently, there's one big problem. The ball is not getting any closer to the basket. It's 10 feet too far from the rim. At that age in high school, I am studying for my SAT, college entrance exams. So I am seeing all these mathematical equations run through my head. All right, ball here, basket here. X squared plus Y squared, divide by 4, multiply by 2, move X here, double check my work. Okay, yeah, that ball is going to miss. Definitely a miss. I see the ball on its way down, and finally hits the ground. Air ball. I look around the gym, and there's an awkward silence. Now my face is turning red. I see one of my teammates walk in my direction, and I think he's going to tell me something that makes me feel better. But no, I was not ready for the disappointment that was about to unfold. Not hiding his frustration, he takes a few steps forward and looks right at the crowd. Seriously? Everyone? You expected better? Really? From Jasper? Seriously. It's just Jasper. The entire gym burst into laughter. Wow. When you realize your friends carry low expectations for you. My heart felt heavy, a type of pain I'll never be able to describe. It's just Jasper, nothing more than that. I say nothing and keep it to myself. I look around and the game is still in progress. But at this point, I'm tuning out, no longer making an active effort to go for the ball again. Once the game is over, we grab all of our stuff and head back to the Toyota minivan. And the first person to the door force both arms to drag it open. We all get inside. And then person closest to the door from the inside grabs it and forces both arms to slam it closed. I'm sitting in the back and I'm thinking to myself, never again. Never again. I don't want this feeling for myself, and I don't want this for others. Never again. The next day, without saying a word, I pack all my bags and start spending time with a different group of friends. I'm moving on. Later that day, I'm hanging out at the mall, and I walk into the Borders bookstore. Remember Borders? This is the same time when all the cool people are showing off the Motorola Razr flip phone. Look, everyone, I can play solitaire. Can you do that on your Nokia phone? Back at the bookstore, I'm walking around. And as I'm walking past one of the aisles, there's a book that catches my attention. It's a golden color. It just stands out. I reach for the book, and in large letters across the cover, John Maxwell. I'm flipping through the pages just to see what it's about. And as I'm flipping through, there's a line that catches my attention. Helping others grow and develop brings great joy, satisfaction, and energy. Wait, that moment on that basketball court, that moment, when other people make you feel like you're not good enough. I don't want that for others. And because of that moment on the basketball court, I'll be the one to help others grow and develop. There are people out there who use a toxic approach to change people. You're flawed. You're imperfect. You're weak. Let me fix you. Well, let me tell you something. You're not broken. You never were. No one should ever be held to a low standard. No one should be treated less than what they're capable of. And no one, absolutely no one, should be put down for not being good enough. Finding greatness in others, it's the right thing to do. There are moments in life where I still think about that day on the basketball court. The ball lands into the grip of my hands. Today's the day. Here's my chance. This is it. I look up at the basket. Today is the day. Today is the day I'll discover what true leadership means to me. Back to you, Toastmaster Judith.
Thank you so much, Jasper. So Brad, please has 90 seconds for people to able to send messages to Jasper's speech. Thank you. Our third speaker is Harold G. And his evaluator is Tamara. Please tell us about Harold's project. You're muted.
Introducing Harold will be an improvisation to me. I was trying to find out something about his project, but failed. But I hope that whatever the speech will be about, it will be inspiring and informative and maybe even entertaining. So let it be a surprise for us. Let's listen carefully, and after the speech, we will be able to say. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Let's see, my internet is unstable. Okay, so Harold's speech is, the title of his speech is, Your Life is One of the Most Valuable Assets. Please welcome Harold G.
Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, and particularly the Toastmaster.
Your head is missing, Harold.
Excuse me?
Your head is cut off of the screen.
Can you see me now?
Yes, it's much better. Yes, good.
Is my head okay? I'm trying to stand. By the way, the tie and white shirt, I'm going to a funeral after the meeting. Anyway, fellow Toastmasters, the title of the speech is Time. Time is your greatest asset. Now, what is time? Time is a bit of a mystery in that we are governed by time, we're dominated by time, we live in time. I'm talking about 24 hours a day. Everyone, time is a great equalizer. Everyone, rich, poor, no matter what you have 24 hours every day. Now, time can be subjective in terms of how you interpret your time. If you're bored, you're sad, time goes by so very slowly. But if your attention is riveted on a topic, you're an artist, you're a writer, you're even a gardener, your time is focused, your attention is focused, time goes by rapidly. The one thing you should not ever do, waste time. Time, like money, is valuable. Now, let's make it clear before I go on. Everyone sitting here, every Toastmaster, your life has an expiration date. Oh, let me tell you, it will come to an end. There'll be one day, I love to look at the seasons of the year. In winter, trees are dead. In the spring, they come back to life with a power. Leaves. And that's the same for you. Let me say this. for your life to be meaningful, and we do want a meaningful life, a purposeful life, a life that has some direction, you're going to have deadlines, set long-term goals, short-term goals. An example, one time I was between jobs, and I was only making a deposit in my savings account of $5. I went to the bank with my head hung, and I was about to close my account. The lady comes to me with a smile. Mr. G, you don't want to do that. I said, why not? I'm only putting $5 in. She said, oh, goodness, you overlook one thing. You have an active account with us, and that's a drip. We call that a drip account. I said, a drip account? She said, you know, when a pipe has a little hole in it and it drips, you know what happens? There's a puddle. And that's what you're doing with your money. Just keep going. 10 weeks, $5 per week, over time, that will accumulate to $50. And sometimes you go as high as $10, $20. Now, Mr. G, you're developing one terrific habit, and that you'll be glad you'll keep for the rest of your life. I said, what is that? That habit, you're saving. You're in the habit of saving. Save your money. Now, let me think this. When I say time, purpose, each day I get up, I journal of my life, and I make a note of what I did the day before. Right here. And it's right there. Every day you should have a purpose. Do something. Even if it says going to the supermarket to buy groceries. That's a goal. Do something. Be purposeful about it. Be optimistic about that day. You're going to do great things. Tell yourself. That's right. I frequently go into denial and tell myself, Harold, you are great. Do a great thing today. Smile, be friendly, get out there. Now, are there difficulties you have? You're going to have difficulties in your life. No question. You can't get around it. It's going to find you. You can't be rich enough, famous enough. It's going to come after you. So develop a sense of inner calm, strength. You can deal with it. And your time should be devoted one thing to help you stay youthful and vigorous. Develop your mind. I said it. Grow. We live in this time, and you should understand the time you live. An example was one time I got in an auto accident with a lady, and she used her cell phone. I didn't know how to use a cell phone. When I told her that, she almost gasped. Oh, no. You did not say you didn't know how to use a cell phone. I said, no. She said, I can tell you where to go. And she did. She said, go to this senior center. Now, when she said that, I said, lady, I don't see myself that way. I mean, I may be of the age, but I don't go around people like that. I did go to that senior center. I have a whole new bunch of old friends now. And learning how to use my cell phone. I know how to give calls. I know how to even give directions. Put an address in my cell phone, and the phone tells me where to go. What you have to do, time is so important. Don't waste it. You can't get it back. You can earn money back. You can't earn time back. Do something. Each day is meaningful to you. Read a book. Do something. Make friends. Smile. Get up. Have something that you want to accomplish that day. If it's even one thing, I have 3 things usually I want to accomplish. But the next day, I make a note of it. Why do I make a note of it? Because I know my days are numbered. Harold, you will not be here forever. Try to get as much of it as you can. Be friendly. Reach out. Even if no one reaching out to you, try to reach back. The thing is this. You are in time, and your life has a certain limitation, and you have talents, and you have tremendous opportunity to use those resources you do have. Use them. You every day, meet the day with a smile, even if that day slaps that smile right off your face. Get up the next day and try again. Time is too valuable for you to waste even 1 minute, because your life is valuable and your life is in time. Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you so much, Harold. Very timely speech. Brad, let's have 90 seconds for Harold. Thank you. Thank you. Brett, could you tell us let's have a timing report of these 3 speeches before we move on to table topics?
Sure. Pat Caslin was 7 minutes and 14 seconds. Jesper was 7 minutes and 20 seconds. And Harold was 7 minutes and 19 seconds.
Thank you so much. So now we're going to go to our second exciting part of our meeting, and that is table topics. So Baku, Talbert, take us to table topics.
Greetings and good morning, Madam Toastmaster. Judith, thank you. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, welcome to our table topic sessions. The purpose of Table Topic Master is to facilitate table topics where guests and members will have the opportunity to practice their impromptu speaking. For those who are new to table topics, here's how it works. I will call on you to share a story based on the question or topic I provide. You'll have 1 or 2 minutes to share your story. We're going to add exciting twists to our table topics session by including the SNAP evaluations. This means after each impromptu speech, we'll have a brief structured evaluation focused on specific, noteworthy, actionable, positive feedback. This will help us improve our speaking skills on the spot and make our session even more engaging. We all have stories to tell, whether they're from our childhood, a thrilling adventure, or a mysterious encounter. As Judith said earlier, every culture has stories to share. Storytelling is a powerful way to connect with others and share experiences and unleash our creativity. So let's dive into some impromptu storytelling and make this morning memorable. To kick things off, I'll share a quick story as an example. One day I found myself in a town in Costa Rica where everyone spoke Spanish. I couldn't understand anything but the basic words, como está, hola. But it was an unexpected twist when I met a kind local who turned out to speak perfect English and became my guide for the rest of my trip. Sometimes the most unexpected people can have the biggest impact on our lives. Who's ready to improv? Do we have any volunteers? Oh, Pamela, I see your hand up. Okay. All right, let's get started. Tell us a story. Oh, before we get started, is there anybody who would be willing to evaluate Pamela? Jesper, will you be open?
You have to choose somebody afterwards.
Okay. Afterwards? Okay. We're back to Pamela. Okay. Tell us a story about a memorable event from your childhood that has shaped who you are today.
All right. Thank you, Baku, for the question. It's actually a sad story. One that was impression. You know, everybody has something that they tell ourselves, right? We all tell ourselves something about ourselves. It's not necessarily good or positive. Mine was, I'm not enough. And how did that come? When I was 5 years old, I am the youngest in my family. By 7 years, my sister's older. 5 years, my brother's older. My parents went out to dinner and I wanted to be with them. Actually, I think I was 4. I was young. I wanted to go out, but they were going to a fancy place. And I guess they decided that I wasn't able to go. And all I remember so vividly is they left. I was holding on to my mom and you have to stay, you have to stay, you have to stay. They left me with the cleaning lady. And I said, they're like, you have to stay. I was crying so bad and they closed the door on me. And I remember my mom peeked back in, you can't go. And just that closing of the door like that framed me to think, I'm not enough. I wasn't good enough. They didn't want me. Of course, that as a parent now, I can look back and say, I was a little young, whatnot. They made that decision. But it deeply affected my belief in myself. And as 47 years old, I feel like I still have to go back and say, I am enough. It's not about not being enough or not being heard or seen, right? What is it for us, for you? Everyone has an instance that something happened and we can rationalize it as older people. But it was that one point where you made up a story about yourself and then it had a domino of who you are. Well, now we get to grow, of course, and rework it. So that is my improvised story of something that affected me. Thank you. Back to you, Baku.
Thank you, Pamela, for your improv. I appreciate that personal story, really. We can move on for evaluator for 30 seconds. Jesper, would you like to?
Pamela, excellent table topic response. You answered the question by sharing a memory that shaped your childhood. And the best part about it is that you were able to share a vivid memory. And you just shared that setup from beginning to end. As far as something that we can experiment with, your facial expression, you said this was a sad story, but throughout your table topic, you were smiling, not necessarily at the end of it, but to make it more, to give it more that power, you want to show that you were just as frustrated as that moment during your childhood. But overall, I thought I enjoyed the message, and keep it up. Thank you, Pamela.
Thank you, Jesper. Okay, let's keep the momentum going. Sheila, I have not heard your amazing voice today. Will you be open to talk?
Certainly.
Okay, I have a good question for you. Okay. Imagine you wake up in a world from your favorite book or movie. Describe your adventure there.
Waking up from a movie or a world, I'm thinking of Alice in Wonderland, because she woke up to an upside down world with a lot of metaphors, with the queen and the cat, the Cheshire cat up in the tree. Alice said, I'm lost. She said to the cat, which way do I go? And the cat said the seminal line that I'll always remember, it depends on where you want to go. So it doesn't matter which way you go unless you know where you want to go, or something to that effect. That is usually impactful to me in my life, because to have a plan, a route, a direction, a guide is so important. And in that Alice in Wonderland, it was a perfect metaphor for the Alice looking up at the Cheshire cat and wondering, which way do I go? And the cat saying, it doesn't matter which way you go unless you know where you want to go. That is my metaphor for the day, is direction. We all need one. We all need a compass, whether it be the universe, Jesus, God, a career goal, a job. It doesn't matter. Make sure it's your passion, though. Make sure it's something that you have a passion for and lean towards it. Mr. Storyteller Master.
Thank you, Sheila. I appreciate that so much. David, are you available to give 30-second feedback? David Vardy. Okay, we'll move on to someone else. John Graham, can you give a bit of a feedback if you're available?
I certainly can. Sheila, boy, I love reliving a little bit of Alice in Wonderland with you. And I like the way that you, first of all, you came up with that right away. Like that was an impactful story for you. And this is all about storytelling. You did it for us. I like the way that you were expressive. I think that you could have done a couple other things where you'd be more expressive. Like when you talked about when you really talked about the Cheshire Cat, you could have opened it up like that a little bit. I love the way that you looked up at the Cheshire Cat when it was when you were thinking of it. It made me feel, oh yeah, she's really there. And you had a moral to your story, direction. We all need it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. If we have one more time, I would like to ask Brad. Brad, I know you're busy working over there as timer, but maybe Sandra can time you while you give, a bit, if you're open for that, Brad. Okay. Let me get a question for you. Okay. Can you share a story about a time when someone unexpected came to your rescue or made a significant impact on your life?
Thank you for that question. People significant impacts on my life all the time, and especially in Toastmasters. I a lot from simple words, simple phrases that I hear from people in Toastmasters meeting during table topics, like today, like Pamela's lesson about hearing I'm not enough as a child, and how she processes that today, and how she knows what the real truth was or what may have been misunderstood. And for me, hearing everyday lessons from people around me, whether I'm in person or I hear a voice or I read a message on the billboard, I'm impacted. I believe words dramatically impact our lives, or bad sometimes, but the good side and the beautiful words and the generous words and the words of greatness are the best words ever that heal anything else that we experienced or heard in life. People expressing words is what brings joy to me and helps me remember who I really am.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Brad. Appreciate you with those kind words. I think words bring joys to all of us if they're kind. April, are you open to evaluate?
Yes, I am. Brad and I have only known each other due to Toastmasters. And I remember the first time I saw him, I was at some kind of a meeting that was real, not online. And I thought, who's this character? He's going around, he's stacking papers and he's moving this stack there and the other. And I had no idea who Brad was. But I got to know him with Tech Talk Tuesdays. And I've been a member of that for at least 3 years. And Brad is a very sincere individual, and I love that sincerity of his. I love the truth he has. I love the brains he has that I've seen and that he just demonstrated for us in making his remarks. So we should all pay heed to whenever Brad has something to say. I don't care if he's stacking papers or not. Listen to what he has to say, as he just spoke so well. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Thank you so much, April. Before we continue, I'd like to extend a special welcome to our guests today. I believe we have both Philip and Evelyn. I believe you came on a little later. So we love to hear stories if either one of you would like to participate. Philip? Okay, I got you. Let's see. Okay. Can you narrate a day in the life story, but give us a twist? Oh, that may be too much for you. I'll say, like, describe a story from your life where you learned an important lesson the hard way.
Mr. Toastmaster, thank you for that. There comes a time in all our lives when we are exposed to an experience that leads to an important message. Let me take you back to when I was a teenager. And as a teenager, of course, I was susceptible to all kinds of nonsense, sulking, that sort of thing. I was very attracted to a particular girl, and we were at a party, and she was paying me no attention whatsoever. And I was trying very hard to attract her attention. And I'd known her for a while, but I was getting nowhere at all. So I did what any teenager at that age would do. I sulked. I went out into the garden and I put a handkerchief on the floor, on the grass, and I sat on that and looking very sorry for myself, expecting that somebody would come out and say, "What's the matter?" and help me in. No one came. So I went back in the house and I was taken aside by an older man, and he said, "Let me give you 2 words of advice. And the 2 words are expect and accept. Expect nothing, and accept whatever whatever comes your way. Expect nothing and accept whatever comes your way. If you follow those 2 words, you will always be content. If you do not follow them, you will always be discontented." And those 2 words have stayed with me all my life, and they have guided my reaction to things, my reaction to people, my reaction to behavior, my reaction to the way people have treated me, because I expect nothing and I accept whatever comes my way.
Thank you so much, Philip, for those words. I mean, that was some great wisdom and nuggets for us to have. And your voice is very amazing, like it should be on an audio book. Okay, we're going to ask Vicky if you can give him a snap, and after that, I think we're going to end the session.
Can I ask that you call on someone who hasn't had a role like Jason?
Oh, yes. There you go. Thank you, Vicky. Is Jason? Oh, I didn't even see Jay. Who's Jason? Oh, there's Jason. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing well. And how about yourself today?
I'm doing great. Would you mind giving a 30-second evaluation of Philip?
Would love to. What's wonderful about what you said is that you wanted to make sure that when you had your moment to speak, that you were not only going to give a story, but that you made sure that you gave a message. And that's so important, because anytime we have the ability to speak, it's not just for us to tell a story that's not going to impact anybody else's life. It's to be able to give a message, so you give somebody a little nugget that they can take home with them. And I'm glad that when you were given the spotlight to do that, you took it upon yourself to make it important to make sure that you did that. But the best part about doing that is that it also is an example of what other people should do with their speeches when they give a chance to speak. So thank you so much for leaving a message. We like our nuggets. And keep giving more. And take more opportunities to speak, because you're really good at it. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. What amazing stories we've heard this morning. Thank you to everyone who shared and everyone who listened. Storytelling is a fantastic way to connect, and you learn from each other. I hope you all enjoyed this session as much as I did. Let's continue to share our stories and inspire each other throughout the day. Have a great morning, everyone. Back to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Baku. Can we have the timer report, please, for the table topic session?
Indeed. Pamela was 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and Jessica's response was 41 seconds. Sheila was 1 minute and 16 seconds, with John's response was 43 seconds. Our fourth speaker was Philip at 2 minutes and 3 seconds, and Jason was 1 minute and 4 seconds. And I believe Sandra has.
Yes, Brad, you were at 1 minute 40 seconds, and April at 46 seconds.
Okay, thank you so much. Now we're going to have, I think, this whole timing thing is so strange because your hand goes off, and I go through this all the time, and I am a timer. Always somehow the hands come off the screen. Anyway, we're going to have the third section of our meeting and this evaluation, and it's conducted by Sandra Savage. Welcome, Sandra, to the stage.
Thank you. And actually, I'm going to turn it over to a very capable person in the form of John.
Yeah, that's right. It's John Graham. Sorry, I
No problem.
missed the whole thing. Okay, welcome, John. Sorry.
Thank you. I don't know how capable I am. This is the first time I've been GE to do this, but I certainly can call other people up to give their evaluations and give a little summation for myself at the end. So first of all, I'd like to bring Janelle up to give us an evaluation of Pat and his speech. Janelle, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. And most importantly, thank you, Pat. Let me start by thanking you for sharing your personal story. Of course, I'm not a member of the club everyone here may be familiar with already, but it was my first time hearing it. And I thought it is always wonderful when someone feels will share a personal story and be vulnerable with the audience. It increases connection right away. I love that you started with, and I'm not sure if it was a quote or just what you were saying, but your second life begins when you realize you only have one. And that was so striking. Immediately, it brought my attention. It made me want to know, okay, what is it about the second life? Like, how did we find that? Some things that I think, first of all, are amazing is one, I love your voice and your vocality. Your lighting is great. I could clearly see your face, and you had great engaging eye contact as well. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sorry, my asthma's acting up, so I apologize. I loved everything about the story and the way that you told it, shared it with us chronologically, and I'm losing Brad for some reason, but I thought it was great. I think that the only thing I would suggest, one, is just to be careful. I think you were using your phone, so your hand gestures were sometimes out of the screen. So you either need to maybe be scooted back further or have your phone a little bit further away so that we don't lose your arms. We're cut off in this way, how I'm kind of moving a little bit. And my eye was drawn to your background, to the books and the pictures on the wall. But I want to focus on the rest of this evaluation on your speech, because I thought it was amazing. I loved the phrases that you used. And some things that stuck with me was, first, that I was able to, but then I couldn't, as you detailed the cycling and going and noticing the difference in your legs. And the change the way you look at things and the way you look at things will change. Both were very poignant to me. And I think critical points of the speech, I would suggest maybe just a pause there with each of those phrases, to let it sit with the audience so that we digest it. Because I felt my interpretation was that these were really critical pieces that you wanted the audience to focus on. So give them a bit of a pause and force them to sit with that and think about how it relates to them as well. Overall, I thought this was an engaging, relatable, interesting speech. I do believe that you achieve your purpose to inspire us by sharing your personal story and your revelations. All in all, I mean, it really stuck with me for just a number of reasons, because probably right now where I'm at in my life, this was the perfect speech to change the way you think and look at the possibilities that can be unlocked. So thank you for sharing that. It was wonderfully amazing. And I look forward to hopefully hearing another speech from you sometime soon. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Janelle. Oops. Now, I'd like to thank you. Good summation, Janelle. I appreciate that very much. Now, I'd like to bring up Vicky to give us an analysis of Jasper. And today is the day. And what key aspects of Jasper's story are you going to highlight? Vicky.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. So the key word, Jasper, to this evaluation is improv. Now, I am not going to look at my notes the entire time I do this evaluation because I want to show you the importance of keeping eye contact. And here's the thing about this beautiful, powerful story you told. You know it. I now know it. You're a visual learner. You look up, you could see it. You described words when you were using the equations. You were going 3 divided by 2, third power. So you're a visual learner. What you need to do to make this speech more powerful is to see it as you speak it. When you watched Philip speak, you could feel he was in the garden. His head was dropped. He's a little older than you, but he remembers that story like it was yesterday. You remember the story like it was yesterday. You moved the van doors. You had the ball. You had the book. And may I suggest, when you need a prop, take a book and make a false cover. If you don't have a John Maxwell book, it would be more impactful than just holding an imaginary book, holding an imaginary ball. The ball actually kind of works because it's round and we can see the ball, but I can't see a book. So take a book, make a cover, you know, like we did. Maybe you didn't do it when you were a kid. They invented paper when I was a kid, so we used it a lot. And make a cover of a John Maxwell book so that we can see what you're talking about. You described the hero's journey. John Joseph Campbell, the monomyth. The adventurer sets out, engages in conflict, has a spiritual moment, learns the lesson, teaches it, and repeats it. Now, if you were using this for a speaker's video, I need to see your eyes the whole time. I can't have you saying something and looking down. You did a good job. If you were on a lectern, at a podium, and you look down and then you look back up to speak, that would be great. But I felt like a lot of times when you were looking down, you didn't need to. You know the story. I know the story. I could tell your story now because it was so beautifully said. Where you lost me was when you lost eye contact. If you think about a camera, it's really important when you watch newscasters and anyone. See, I look up when I think because I just saw newscasters. So when you look at a newscaster on TV, they're mostly keeping eye contact with that dot, with that camera. I'm going to encourage you to do this speech again. I got 2 pages of notes. 1, 2. I didn't even look at them today because I didn't need to. You did good repeats. You have lots of pathos, lots of emotion, and you made a difference. Now drop the notes and tell your story, Mr. GE.
Vicky, great job. I wish I could do improvs like that. Boy, I have trouble losing my notes, I'll tell you. Next, I'd like to bring up Tamara to give us a good evaluation of Harold G. And can you share a little bit about what you heard and what you were listening for? Tamara.
Okay. Thank you very much, Harold, for this very good, very powerful, and very useful speech. The topic is extremely important for all of us. Time, the value of time. I would suggest, first of all, the title. If you could change it a little bit, making it shorter, so that it is powerful, brief, and memorable. Like, for example, the value of time. Or you can maybe use a proverb, lost time is never found again. But something memorable, shorter. Okay, then the whole speech was very catchy. The beginning and vivid examples, interesting comparisons, time with money, that you can save both. This example about the dripping account. And the comparison that you can get money back, but you can't get time back. Days are numbered. You were speaking with great emotions. Your voice was strong and loud. But I think if you could use more voice variety, sometimes using whisper for contrast, and a little slower with more pauses, that would help your excellent ideas to be imprinted in the listener's mind. It reminded me when you were throwing ideas, wonderful ideas, excellent ideas, but a little bit too quickly. It's like a game when an adult is playing with a child, throwing balls. At first, if it's slow enough, the child catches, but then if it's quicker, some of them are wasted. Some of the ideas just couldn't get grasped. And one more suggestion: try to find the proper time to stop. Do it at crescendo, you know, musical term, crescendo, is louder, and the most powerful, boom, the final chord. When you said, remember in the end, you said, be optimistic, stay useful, grow. That should have been the end of it. Because after that, if you say, oh, you have talents, you can do this, it's already kind of extra. So if you rearrange a little bit and say something, if you want to mention talents, then you have talents, resources, use them, be optimistic, grow. Thank you very much.
I love that, Tamara. Very good. Very expressive. I love your feeling. You know, it comes really across. Great. Excellent. Okay. Now, I guess I need to bring up our Pamela. Oh, to give us a little rundown on the word of the day, a grammarian, and I'll counter report. So, Pamela, can you do that for us, please?
Surely. Thank you, John. John, I'll start with you. You're at the top of my list. You hit one improv, and you just got one I when you introduced me. Yeah, but good job. And lovely Vicky, wow, what an evaluation as always. You used improv once. Woohoo, gold star for you. Janelle, you are awesome. Just jumping into it. I loved your energy, and you used improv once. Pat, you used improv once, and you had two ums. Oh, Jasper wrote your name, but you didn't do anything. I mean, you killed it. That's it. You killed it. Didn't use improv, but you killed it. You didn't need it. Tamara, you used improv once, and you had two uhs, but you spoke twice, so one each time. And I love your language. You imprinted in our minds, the throwing, all of your words are just so poetic and beautiful, and they have us hanging on to all of it visually. And so amazing. Harold, great vocal variety. We can all relate to time. Baku, my son was playing with his Bakugans today, so I was thinking about you. You said impromptu, which is pretty close to improv, so I wanted to give you that. And then you just had one and you did great. Sheila, beautiful poetry in your words. They were just Alice in Wonderland, all of that was just very poetic. So I wanted to give you a nod to that. April, you had two ahs, but spoke beautifully as well. Philip, oh my gosh, I agree. I want your audio book. I want you to read me a book to bed every single night. You are amazing. I'm so glad Vicky invited you today. I think we all really feel like, whoa, this guy is something special. I wrote down so much of what you said. You exposed us to an experience susceptible to nonsense. Just every word you said just felt like poetry, or like they were just, those words were packed together so beautifully. And I think we all are going to take that, expect nothing and accept what comes your way. I think we would have an incredible life living that way. And it followed by Jason. you didn't have much that I had to report on, Jason, but I thought you followed so beautifully. The tone of your voice is also really beautiful. So it came together in a beautiful package. So that's what I got for you guys today. And thank you for letting me improvise my way through the word master today.
Thank you, Pamela. Great job. And I'll give my summation. Oh, first of all, we don't have the final timing. I think we did everything but the evaluators. So at the end, I'll call for evaluation of our evaluators. So let me give my summation. Improvisation was it all the way through from the beginning. You know, we had to have a new timer. We had to have Brad, Janelle. We had to have Pamela all jump into roles they didn't know they were going to have to begin with. And so perfect improvisation all the way along there. I think we hit a theme with our speeches. They're great stories, all overcoming tyranny of one kind or another. The tyranny of prognosis. The tyranny of the air ball turning into helping others. And the tyranny of time versus money and other issues. I think that those things struck me and came down to something that made sense and pulled this meeting together. We also had a wonderful run through of our storytelling in our table topics. You know, we went through from like early childhood into experiences of Alice in Wonderland. And then we got into talking about words and expression. And we got a lot going on about expectation versus acceptance. All of those things hit home to me. And I think that in my mind, we did a great job of improvisation. The other things I'd say about the meeting in general in terms of a critique, I think we need to get our roles squared away early, and the priorities in terms of what we do in the meeting need to be clearly defined to begin with. And that's a hard thing to do. And that's one of the things, by the way, that's one of the things about Toastmasters that's wonderful, because in reality, when you're doing a real meeting someplace, it always changes. I mean, how many times, Janelle or Brad, have you wound up getting getting your meeting pushed around a lot? Or Vicky, you know, that happens. And having the ability and the knowledge to think on the fly and to work out and improvise not only the meeting content, but to improvise the meeting roles is a skill that we all need to develop. That would be my evaluation of the meeting. And thank you. Now I'd like to call up our timer to give us our final timing, and that's on the evaluations. Can you do that? Sandra, are you up to do that for us?
It's Brad who's doing it.
Oh, Brad. Sorry, Brad. Can you do that for us, please?
Yes, Mr. General Evaluator. For evaluations, Janelle was 3 minutes and 35 seconds. Vicky was 3 minutes and 15 seconds. And Tamara was 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
All right, thank you. And how about our evaluators, Brad?
Those were our evaluators.
You have one for me?
Okay, for that part, I did not time Sheila. Please forgive me for that. John, you were at 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. With that, let me turn it back to our Toastmaster. And I believe that's Sandra, right? Sandra, you're a Toastmaster?
Thank you. I am the Toastmaster, John.
Yes. Okay, please. Thank you very much.
Anyway, I think we generally do well with our roles. Today was an exception. We usually have a pretty well-defined meeting here. Anyway, so because we are out of time, pretty much 2 minutes left, I just want to say that I think the theme was a perfect theme for this meeting. We heard wonderful stories, and the power of the stories were just demonstrated here by everyone. And we all know that the main importance of storytelling is that it pretty much rest of our lives. When we learned early from our parents or our teachers, or so the powerful story is a very powerful addition. And now I am going to take us back to Sandra, our president pro tem.
Thank you, Judith. It was a wonderful meeting, and I like how each and every meeting that we have great participation, great improvisational skills, and we're learning from each other. I also want to share with you a book I recently found. I'll put it in the chat. I have no relationship to this person, but if you're interested in storytelling, here's how to write a story, a speech, or a novel with a purpose. And that's one of the things that we heard today was speeches with purpose, lessons that we've learned and shared so that we can all be better as a result. The best thing about this club is we are a team, and I'm going to call on Vicky at the end to fill roles for next meeting, but I'd like to hear what our guests thought of today's meeting. Can we start with the very noisy Evelyn over there? Let me unmute you.
Oh,
okay. No, you're unmuted.
I'm unmuted. Okay. I enjoyed the meeting very much. I thought you all had very interesting things to say. I thought the evaluations were very good. I came with my mind focused on evaluations because you are after all, the masters of evaluation. So I thought, well, I have to keep my ears open for these masterful evaluations, and they were masterful. I enjoyed the speeches, and I enjoyed the transitions from one thing to another throughout the meeting. I thought it was a very well-run meeting, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Evelyn. And I'd like to ask Janelle, what did you think of today's meeting? And thank you for coming back again. Is she still here? No, I believe she dropped off. Okay. Philip, would you like to give us some feedback today?
Yes, of course. Coming from another country, of course, I had an expectation that you'd be very different from us, but you're not. This could have been one of our own meetings, and I like the fact that there were no gaps, and also, in particular, I like the way you spoke to each other, and that felt very comfortable because it meant it felt like no one was putting on airs, and everything felt very sincere. And that makes it very, very easy to follow and to fit in. So on the whole, I thought it was an excellent meeting, good pace, we all worked together, no gaps. And I really must say congratulations to Jason, because he came in not expecting to be thrust into forced into doing a final evaluation on the spot. And what he said, I thought, was meaningful, it was helpful, and he was so articulate, and I thought this was really impressive. So well done, Jason. Well done, all of you.
And speaking of Jason, do you have any comments for us?
Well, I got to the party late, and you know that it must be a good party if you can still have fun. But one thing that was really amazing with the idea of storytelling is that there was storytelling not only in the messages that people were given, but also in the evaluations. And that's a nice gift to hear that people have a level of quality in giving feedback that also has the same kind of value in storytelling as the people who are given stories. You don't always hear that when you're getting evaluations from other meetings, but it was a nice thing to hear in this one. So keep elevating what people should be doing, not only in giving their story, but giving the feedback as well. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, Jason. And Sir Brad, any comments?
Thank you, Sandra. As a charter member of this club, I am reminded today of all the opportunities and all the evaluation. I've stood on my toes metaphorically through this whole meeting, which means that I need more practice at engaging and responding at a level that you all provide. Congratulations on a great club and a wonderful meeting today.
And thank you. And Brad has a wonderful service to Toastmasters in that every Tuesday he leads a tech talk for an hour, no charge. Thank you very much. On being a Zoom master and learning all your Zoom skills. And a lot of us participate and have learned a lot from him. So Vicki, I'm going to turn it over to you at this point. One thing we do need to schedule very soon, though, is someone to interview besides myself, because I know all about Sheila and her stove already. But we use our Deliver Social Speeches in a way to introduce our newest members to the club. So if we could get someone to sign up to interview Sheila.
Oh, I think everything's good. Okay, you're back on, Madam President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Vicki. And I love how she gets everybody with her velvet whip to join us all in the filling in the roles. I think of the buffalo and a whip, so I'm sorry. Vicki is our resident buffalo. She heads into every storm that comes her way, and she's stronger for it.
Buffalo.
All for coming today. I appreciate it very much. I'm looking forward to the year to come. And the last word I have is if you're thinking about becoming a club officer at some time, why not be like a substitute teacher and join your VPPR, VPE, president, SAA. Learn from them for a year or even if it's only 6 months so that you can easily step into the job with confidence. And that's what we're learning in Toastmasters is how to gain confidence in our lives to use in all of our conversations and in our stories. So thank you, Judith, for a wonderful theme today on storytelling. And we'll see you all in June. And happy birthday, Vicki.
Everybody, we are live tomorrow. I am here in Palm Springs, headed to LA tomorrow with a bunch of these. So if you're an MoEer and I see you, I'm not only going to hit you with my iron fist and a velvet glove, I'll give you a little slap with your own paddle.
That's a scary part.
Exactly.
Can't wait.
Vicki, is it your birthday, Vicki?
No.
No, I taught my grandkids years ago that last day of May is Vitzi's birthday. So they have no excuse. They all know it.
We have something in common.
No.
Yes, yes we do. Yes.
Yes. Baby, you. Well, that makes my day. Happy birthday, Joan. Am I going to see you tomorrow?
Yes, you will.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, everyone. Anything else for the good of the order?
We can stop recording, and if you want to stick around and socialize for a bit, we'll be here and would love to answer any questions you have or just chit chat in general.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for inviting us. We enjoyed the meeting and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you, Philip.
Thank you very
Good
much.
to see Evelyn.
Beautiful meeting. Thank you, guys. Looking forward to seeing some of you tomorrow.